Solved it. My one-step plan to fix everything. You're welcome. Created by modern-day Prometheus. Miso Gray. All right, settle in, because I've had my morning coffee and I've figured it all out. All of it. War, poverty, climate change, that weird noise my car makes, the whole shebang. And the solution isn't some complex multi-trillion-dollar 75-point plan that requires international cooperation and nuance. Please, we don't have time for that. The answer is simple. It glows. It's the atom, baby. That's right. We just need to switch the whole planet over to nuclear power. I know, some of you are clutching your pearls, whispering Chernobyl into your hemp fiber reusable tote bags. Relax. That was basically the beta test. We've got the bugs worked out now. Probably. Let's walk through my flawless vision for this glorious atomic-powered utopia. Step 1. Defund all the bad guys. For the last half-century, the global economy has been held hostage by a handful of countries sitting on a giant puddle of black goo. Their primary export has been, let's be honest, funding shenanigans. From garden-variety extremism to state-sponsored unpleasantness, it's all been generously underwritten by our insatiable thirst for oil. Well, what happens when we don't need their dinosaur juice anymore? Suddenly, their biggest asset becomes about as valuable as a MySpace page. The endless fire hose of cash that funds terror cells and regional proxy wars gets downgraded to a leaky garden hose. You can't build a caliphate on a budget that tight. You can barely fund a bake sale. Problem 1, solved. Step 2, instant peace in the Middle East. With the oil monarchies now preoccupied with figuring out how to diversify their economies, hint, giant air-conditioned shopping malls might not be a long-term strategy, their focus will inevitably shift away from their neighbors, specifically Israel. It's just simple math. You can't afford to be the regional antagonist when you're trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. All those ancient, intractable conflicts, they'll suddenly seem a lot less important when the national budget can no longer support a 5-star army and has been reduced to, maybe we can afford a few strongly worded letters. Suddenly, peace breaks out. Not because of diplomacy or understanding, but because everyone is too broke to fight. Hey, a win's a win. Problem 2, solved. Step 3, a cleaner, safer, glowing planet. Let's talk about the clean part. For decades, we've been choking the planet by burning stuff like cavemen. Nuclear power, on the other hand, produces energy with the carbon footprint of a gentle sigh. We get to keep our air conditioning and our giant TVs without giving the planet a terminal fever. But what about the waste? Exasperated, you cry. Oh, the humanity! We'll do what we do with every other problem. Bury it somewhere and let our grandkids figure it out. It's the American way. We'll stick it in a mountain in a state nobody cares about. Out of sight, out of mind. It's a tiny amount of waste for a colossal amount of energy. It's a trade-off so good, only a fool would refuse. Airplanes, cruise ships, data centers, air conditioning, all those power-sucking and normally polluting devices now run cleaner and meaner. But what about meltdowns? So much drama. There are better designs now. Plus, AI can now model, evaluate, and watch everything. Homer Simpson can finally retire. Today's nuclear reactors are so safe they practically run themselves. It's like comparing a 1973 Pinto to a 2026 Subaru. They both have 4 wheels, but you're significantly less likely to end in a fireball in one of them. Planet saved. Problem 3 solved. Step 4. Bye-bye wealth gap. Here's the kicker. What happens when energy is no longer a scarce, expensive commodity controlled by a few powerful players? What happens when energy is abundant and cheap for everyone? The global south gets to build factories. Developing nations can power cities, run schools, and refrigerate medicines. The economic playing field gets leveled with the force of a controlled nuclear reaction. The wealth gap, that pesky chasm between the haves and the have-yachts, will begin to narrow. Not out of charity, but because free, limitless energy is the greatest economic equalizer imaginable. Everyone gets a shot. Problem 4. Solved. So, there you have it. 4 global crises averted with one neat, tidy solution. It's so painfully obvious you have to wonder why we haven't done it yet. It's almost as if reality is a messy, complicated thing full of unforeseen consequences, entrenched interests, and human fallibility. Nah, couldn't be. Let's get to splitting those atoms.